Hello, everybody. This is Muhammad Said, and you are watching ELT Issues. Uh, in this program, we talk about different educational issues that face English teachers in particular, and some of the researches and the educational perspectives, and how different authors and researchers tackle these issues. We try to go through some of the readings and to suggest some of the ideas based on science. Okay, so in this episode, we're talking about the imposter syndrome. Let me just start by sharing something with you guys. I'm quite sure that most of the teachers who graduated from different universities in non-English speaking countries might experience the imposter syndrome. From my personal experience, I've met many teachers who actually told me that they do have this problem. So basically, what is the imposter syndrome, guys? And where did this term come from? So basically, the imposter syndrome is simply your feeling that you're not enough. You as a teacher, you're not enough. You're actually kind of a fraud in the English community. You're not really welcomed by the native speakers in that community. This kind of feeling is the imposter syndrome. And here, the term has been mentioned for the first time by Clance and Imes in their book in 1978, when they defined the imposter syndrome as the psychological phenomena that results in individuals to question their capacities and feel like frauds, even when there is evidence of their competence. And one of the examples that it's not only particularly for teachers. I've read that even some celebrities like Tom Hanks, singers, I think Lady Gaga or others, they actually mentioned that they have experienced this kind of imposter syndrome. And by investigating more, they told I think we just made it by luck. I don't really believe that I have the talent. So as some teachers might have the same feelings. They feel like they're not enough. They're not good enough. They are not actually good teachers. Now, let's also point to one of the greatest books ever in the field of teachers training, which is The Non-Native Teacher by Peter Medgyes. Peter Medgyes, in his book in 1994, indicate that NNESTs feel imposters in a world that value native speakers as the norm providers and the natural choice in language teacher selection. So basically, the English teachers in many communities, as Peter Medgyes mentioned, they feel like imposters. In my research, I did my master's in education at the University of Buckingham, and I was lucky to examine one of the course of my study was about the imposterhood or the imposter syndrome for teachers. So in that case, I tried to survey and to examine the English teachers and if they've ever experienced this kind of imposterhood. So my case study was a group of NNESTs from Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and 50% of the teachers believed that they had actually imposterhood, and they have experienced the imposter syndrome, and some of them even still have the same problem till now. And it was quite interesting that few of the teachers mentioned, I think it was 30% of the teachers mentioned that they haven't faced the imposter syndrome because they have been developing themselves, and this will lead us to the solution. After the discussions, we've noticed that the teachers who worked on themselves in the linguistic competence and the pedagogical competence, they were able to feel very welcomed and very confident while teaching English in English or non-English speaking communities. So they feel even more comfortable. They can be teaching, foot to foot and hand to hand with the native speakers counterparts. So they've never experienced that. So basically, another research was explained by Rajagopalan in his paper in 2005, that the non-NNEST need to be proficient enough in the language to be welcomed into the community of native speakers. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to mention here, guys, that if you are a proficient English speaker, if you feel like you have done some linguistic achievements and at the same time some other pedagogical backgrounds, teaching knowledge backgrounds, you will feel like you don't have a problem with that. You don't have imposter syndrome. But I also have to highlight something, guys, that you might face the imposter syndrome in any stage of your life. So you could actually face it as a teacher, or you could face it in a different context or in a different country, or even when you try something you've never done before, or even as a teacher trainer. And the more you achieve, the more you pursue some of the goals, you will feel like you are confident, you can do it, and you can be more confident and pushing on the imposter syndrome. Another good research by Lourie in 2005, that there are some variables that have been reported to influence the non-NNEST identity and decrease the imposter syndrome, such as the pronunciation, the familiarity with target language, and the culture. So if the teachers are aware of the different pronunciations, if the teachers can acquire the language and speak it naturally, if the teachers are aware of the culture, they will feel they are welcomed in the English-speaking community. Peter Medgyes, in his research in 1994, has highlighted that many non-NNEST define themselves as poorer listeners, poorer speakers, readers, and even writers, which is quite frustrating, okay? But the dream is always there, the hope is always there, and there are some cases that happen in Japan where they presented audios for the learners, and they've asked them, can you categorize these audios into natives and non-natives? Can you listen and tell which speaker is a native and which others are non-natives? And it was quite interesting that a huge percentage of the learners couldn't really make the difference and couldn't define which speaker is the native and which one is the non-native. So all I'm saying is, you as a non-native, you can be working on your pronunciation, and you can be working on your target language and on the culture awareness, and you can be building your multilingual identity over and over till you feel like you are confident to share and to teach with even other native speakers. Okay, one last part that I'd like to talk about is the importance of the LDT programs, the language development for teachers programs. Now, if we would actually highlight the importance of the pedagogical language by doing some courses like the CELTA, the TEFL, the TESOL, the CERT TESOL as level 5 courses, or doing some postgraduate courses or programs like Masters, Delta, Dep TESOL, all these will get you the awareness and will help you overcome any kind of imposter syndrome. But at the same time, there are some other aspects that you as a teacher need to be aware of, like your understanding of the classroom language, which is how to use different alternatives in your class, how to present what you're teaching in different ways, how to use English as a medium of instruction, how to tackle all of these issues in different linguistic patterns. That's it for today, and thank you very much, and we will meet soon.